This is Carl at National RV Detroit, and I'm going to walk you around this 2020 Flagstaff high wall tent camper, model HW27KS for outside kitchen. Now this is just a supplemental video to the manufacturer's video, so we'll be giving you a link to the manufacturer's video, but I'm just going to go over some of the features and show you how they work, just point out a few things to you. This is not a floor plan video or a sales video, it's just a how-to video, okay? So, before you can use your 2-burner cooktop, you have to pull this out. Okay, this is a quick connect LP fitting right here. It's off when this lever is perpendicular with it, and you clip it on by doing this, right? So you're going to clip it right onto this male right here, and then turn it to the on position, right? So until you do that, you won't be able to get any gas to it. So before you use it, you have to do that. Now there's a grill inside also, and that hangs right on the railing here. So keep in mind there's another one of those right here that you'll connect to your grill. So when you look at it, you got a grill plus 2 burners. You got a lot of room to cook considering you're camping. So that's neat. Also, there's a table that can hang on this rail here with the grill. And I think that's right in here. Let me look. Yeah, there it is right there. Let me move this over a bit here. There we go. So it's right there. Okay? When it comes to your awning, keep in mind that all of the rafter and the poles and everything are all stored inside the awning and inside the bag. So when you roll it out, you'll be able to set it up. There's no parts that are not attached to it. If you want to stake it to the ground, well, there's not 2 stakes in there, but everything else is included right in there. It's a really well-made awning. All right, so you got, the radio antenna, outside speaker. Now this is a fresh water tank fill. Most commonly you're going to use city water hookup for the trailer, because most places you camp will have city water. That's right over here. So you can see that's right here. So you put the hose on there and you're all set, ready to go. Now if you're going to a campground that does not have plumbing on the campsites, it's maybe more rustic or a state park. Some of them have a fill station when you first get in the gate. You pre-fill your tank right here and use the onboard pump to pump the water. Everything will work as though you have city water. You're just pumping it out of the tank. So if you have city water, you don't have to worry about this tank, but nevertheless you have it in case you need it. Okay? Let's move on a little bit here. So you got 2 deep cycle marine batteries. They're wired together at 12 volts, so you're just doubling the storage capacity, which is a great thing. So you have two 24 series batteries together that doubles the storage. You have 2 LP tanks that are full. This is your power tongue jack here. It has a light on it, obviously, and then up and down. And then if it ever fails, you can pull this plug right here, and your wrench, your 3/4 inch stabilizer jack wrench will fit on here, and you can actually operate this manually. Now, if you have a drill with a 3/4 inch socket, that's better yet. But the point is, you can always get hitched and unhitched no matter what happens. Okay. This is your power winch here, up and down. Never, ever try to raise it without releasing these 4 latches. There's one on every corner. You always have to do that, otherwise you're going to get big problems. So make sure you do that. Now if you have kids around that are small kids that like buttons and switches, you got to kind of warn them away from it, okay? But it's important. You always, whoever operates the winch, or is it a winch? I guess it's a winch. A winch is something different. So if you, who's ever operating the winch, if it's up to you to look at all 4 latches to make sure they're undone, okay? All right. When you're going to use the air conditioner, you have to plug it in. So you can see it's plugged in up here, and then it slides back in and pulls out of this port right here. So you have to have that plugged in in order to use the air conditioner. This is your regular 30 amp power cord here. And and we give you reducers for it so you can plug it in at your house if you need to. This is just an outside shower to spray things off. That's a cable or anything you want through. It's a coax, and there's another coax inside the trailer that corresponds with that. Okay. These are refrigerator service panels. All the buttons for your refrigerator are inside, but there's the service panels. This is your gas water heater. So right now this is ready to go. There's no antifreeze in the system. It's been summerized or de-winterized, whichever you prefer. So it's ready to go. No antifreeze at all in the system. You can see here, just so you can see water came out there. It has water in it. One thing to remember is that never run it without water in it, of course. And this is the drain right here. It takes an 1 1/16" 6-point socket, plus you need an extension and a breaker or a ratchet in order to take it out. But there's also an anode rod attached to it, so keep in mind that's where you drain the water here. All right, so here's just some stuff. This is your grill rack here. That's just a wheel for the front if you want to use it. When it comes to dumping your trailer, you have gray tanks. The gray tanks are all connected to this right here. So there are some fittings inside. You can put a barb on it and run the hose wherever you want. But this is considered a galley tank or a gray tank. And then this one here is your black tank. You can see it's got a valve on it. You get a hose for that. That comes with it. So you dump that there, you pull out the gate valve in order to dump the black, right? The black is toilet water and waste. Gray is sink and shower water. And of course your hose is stored in here. Your dump hose. Okay? Stabilizers, like I said, you got 4 of them. Okay. Let me see here. Alrighty. So that's pretty much covers the outside. Like I said, this is just a supplemental video to the manufacturer, so I just want to go over some things that maybe aren't going over well enough in the video. So, okay. This isn't up all the way, right? It hasn't been put. They're just assembling it right now. You can look at this side. That's what it looks like. Those are the bars there. Okay. Now, this is your dump hose here for your black tank. There's also this. Excuse my camera work. There's also this, which you can reduce your 30 amp cord down to a regular 20 amp to plug it in at home. Okay. In here is a water filter canister. If you want to put a water filter in there, it only lasts 1 season. If you do, you have to when you winterize in the fall, you'll throw that one out, the old one out, and then after you de-winterize in the spring, you put a new one in. So it just lasts 1 season. You have to change it out if you choose to do that. Most people don't drink the water, so they don't really care about it as much. All right, so Gfci. Every plug in the trailer, including the one outside, is wired through the Gfci. This is your carbon monoxide LP gas detector here. If it goes off, it should always be green first of all. If it's not, get it serviced. If it goes off, you take everybody outside, shut the gas off, figure out what's going on. It'll tell you if LP gas and carbon monoxide. This is to light your water heater right here. That's it. It's very simple. Lights on gas. Always make sure there's water in the tank before you do that. This is your power converter. So this converts AC to DC power. So on this side you have a distribution panel. It's AC power, 110 AC just like at home, and you have regular circuit breakers like you'd see at home, and they're all labeled, right? Then the power is converted over to 12 volt DC. On this side you got 12 volt fuses, right? And they're all labeled right there, and that's where the 12 volt comes from. This is also a battery tender, so when you're plugged in, it'll keep your battery charged too. So it's also charges and tends your battery. Okay. Now your refrigerator is a 3-way refrigerator, meaning it'll run on AC power, it'll run on DC power, and it'll run on LP gas. The most common way to run it is auto AC. The reason you do that is because it'll automatically seek out regular shore power, AC power, and if it can't find it, it'll automatically switch over to gas and light on gas, right? Now if let's say you're at the it's a super hot day and you're leaving early in the morning to go exploring for the day, and an hour after you leave, that campground loses its power. well, it'll sense that and it'll automatically switch over to gas so it don't spoil the food. So that's the most common configuration. You can change it. That's DC power, which is running off a battery, your battery, right? And then of course there's gas. Let me see if I can do this right there. That's dedicated to gas. But if you leave it on auto AC, it will switch to gas if you lose your power. So that's the best way to run it. Okay. All right. We're going to show you how this assembles. Your bathroom assembles when you pick up, because I can't really film it and do it with one hand and film with the other, so we'll have to show you that in person. This is your sound here. It has Bluetooth, 2 speaker zones. One is inside the trailer, 2 is outside the trailer. You can stream off a USB. It has Bluetooth. You can stream with your phone or tablet, that sort of thing. It does a lot. AM, FM radio. Now this here is an interesting thing. It's the Wi-Fi Ranger. That's this switch right here, right? The Wi-Fi Ranger is a public Wi-Fi signal booster. You'll see it on the front of the trailer on the roof, or is it on the back? I'm not sure. I think it's in the front. I think, yeah, the front. I should go out and look, but I'm sure it's there. This sticker is important here. I know you can't read it very well with the video, but the network, the top line, Sky 4 LTE 4551, it looks like, that's your Wi-Fi Ranger. So when you go to the Wi-Fi part of you and your family's phones or tablets, you'll go there and you'll see it. That's my Wi-Fi Ranger, and you'll all put a password in so it'll log on automatically to the Wi-Fi Ranger. Okay. Then if you go to the bottom here, it says Control Panel. You type this address in a browser, and it'll take you to the page for the Wi-Fi Ranger. So you'll be able to see everything the Wi-Fi Ranger sees. The temporary password is this one right here. Okay. So basically, you'll be able to pick out, let's say, campground Wi-Fi and hook up to it. So all your devices will hook up to the Wi-Fi Ranger by itself automatically, and then you'll hook the Wi-Fi Ranger up to the public Wi-Fi you want to use. It's a really great signal booster. It works really, really well, so you get better bandwidth and just all-time better signal, right? Now, because this is a Sky 4, it also has a cellular function. That's something you'd have to talk to Wi-Fi Ranger and learn about, but it takes a SIM card, and you'd have to pay whoever you get your cell service from. Would be like adding a phone or something, because it would be a monthly payment. But most people don't use that. They just use the free public Wi-Fi booster. So you can scan this doohickey here, and it'll tell you what you need to know. You can also go to Wi-Fi Ranger website. Wi-Fi Ranger now is owned by I'll never think of the name now, by Winegard, who makes antennas. They bought that part, so you'll be able to find it on the internet, and they got a lot of good videos there too. Plus they have an 800 number for customer service, that sort of thing. But this is the Wi-Fi Ranger. Give it about a minute to warm up, and that's a really good thing. It's really, everybody's competing for public Wi-Fi, so it gives you an edge. Okay. All right. Hopefully you understood that. This is self-explanatory here. Always travel with the lid down, or it will break. You got a sparker here. You turn this clockwise. I don't know if the gas is on or not. If not, I'll just talk you through it. I'm not going to go turn it on. Oh, it is though. So right there, you just turn on the gas and then spark it by turning it clockwise. 3 burners, 3 knobs. Okay. Now, here all the way to the back, on the bottom is a pilot light for the oven. So you can see me sparking it back there. Okay. So what you do is you go to the far right knob, which is the oven knob. Go to the picture of the flame, which is pilot light. Then you depress it. You keep it depressed during the whole lighting procedure. Then you're going to spark this, turning it clockwise until you see the pilot light down here light. After it lights, still keep holding this in. You hold it for another 10 seconds to heat up the thermocouple. Then you go to operating temperature, and it cycles as an oven does, right? Now when you shut it off, the flame goes out, but so does the pilot light. So you have to relight the pilot light each time you use the oven. So keep that in mind. Okay, let me close this so I don't forget. Of course, you have a microwave, which works like any other microwave. This is your furnace right here, and it runs on LP gas. And this is the thermostat for it. You just turn this to the right, and it turns on. It's warm out, so it's not running. It did there when I turned it up all the way. But I want to show you, when you click it off, you want to hear this. You want to hear that clicking sound. As soon as I click that off, the flame went out, right? But it'll continue to run for another couple minutes till it purges itself and runs through the cycle. So that's normal. It'll just run until it's done doing its thing there. Always make sure this is clicked to the left when you're not using it, obviously. The air conditioner, on the other hand, works like a window air conditioner. This one is 2 fan speeds and 2 compressor speeds. Compressor speeds are air conditioning, obviously, and that's the thermostat there. So it operates from there. Remember how I showed you have to plug it in on the outside? That's important. All right, and this is your grill. And let's see. This is where you turn your water pump on. Remember I told you that you can pump water out of the fresh water tank? So you use the pump for that. You also use the pump for winterizing the trailer to draw antifreeze into it. So that's the 2 times you'd use the pump. And then you can just check the levels, your battery, which is, let me do it again, which is totally charged, your fresh water tank, your gray tank, and your black tank. It'll tell you the levels on it, okay? Like I said, we'll show you this. I can't do it with one hand, so we'll show you this when you pick up. This is just a shower curtain here that came with it. You may want to get your own or not, but it's clean. It looks like this trailer looks like it was hardly ever used, by the way. And if they did use it, they took really good care of it. It's dry. There's no soft spots anywhere on the floor. Been doing this a long time, so this is a good trailer. If I was in the market for one, this would be this would be a leading candidate. So it's a good choice. Keep in mind that on the outside of the trailer, there's this vent. You can see it on the roof. Then there's corner caps. There's 4 of them. They're made out of plastic. And then there's other caulk you see on the trailer. I checked all the corner caps and everything, so it's tight as a drum. But every year, 2-3 times a year, you're just going to look at it, right? You're going to look at the corner caps. Every place you see caulk from the factory, you're going to look at to make sure it's good and tight. These things flex down the road and they're out in the weather. So you always want to look at that to protect your investment. If you do that, I've seen these things 20 years old and they're still bone dry inside. But you got to do inspection on it and do some basic maintenance as needed, okay? So make sure you do that. Let's see, what else was I going to say about that? Well, that's basically it. Also, if you're not going to camp all year, for example, you still want to open this up a few times in the summer. On a nice, windy, warm day, open it up, open all the windows, let the wind whistle through it. Don't leave it closed up. You just want to air it out periodically. If you're camping and you have to put it away wet, as soon as you get home, as soon as the weather clears, you set that thing up and leave it open till it completely dries out. You'll never have any mold and mildew if you do that. This is free of mold and mildew. It's nowhere. I mean, there's none to be found in this trailer, so they did a good job with it. So keep that in mind. That's important. Of course, you have to winterize it during the winter because it has plumbing. You can learn about that on the internet or maybe even the manufacturer's site. I'm not sure what they have on there, but that has to be done also. Okay, this, I believe, this is... No, that's fine. You do not have to remove this when you this spout. Some people do, but I had it up and down, and it's clear. It clears the roof, so it should be just fine. All right, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let me look around and see if I forgot anything. I think I've pretty much gone through it. The toilet has a flush on it. It drains right into the black tank, right? And then, of course, the kitchen sink and the shower, they go into gray tanks. The outside kitchen, for example, has a gray tank it goes into. I think this one has two 6-gallon gray tanks, as I recall. Don't hold me to that 100%, but last time I looked at it, it did. So keep that in mind. Then you just have your regular storage and the rest of the stuff. So that's all typical. That's the door for your bathroom. It just hangs right on there. It's very simple to put up. Okay. All right, so I want to thank you for purchasing a trailer here at National RV Detroit. Please remember what I said about inspecting the sealant on the trailer. Do that as a matter of a yearly maintenance routine. And if you see any issues, take care of it immediately. Someday, sometime, somewhere, you're going to have to put caulk on it. You don't use caulk from the hardware store. You use something, in this case, it's called Clear Pro Flex. You get it from an RV place. It's the same price, maybe $1 or $2 more for a tube, but it's superior stuff. You don't want to just use regular silicone from the hardware store, so keep that in mind. And like I said, you want to, even if you're not going to camp for the summer, you still want to open it up a few times and let the wind whistle through it to keep it nice and dry, okay? And right now it's ready to be camped in. There's water in the system. The antifreeze has been purged out, so you're ready to go. Okay, thank you.